Hey, thank you so much for 700 subscribers. I am so excited. I am so grateful. Thank you. It means the world to me. To celebrate, I want to go over some underrated or overrated things about superstitions. I asked everyone if they wanted to celebrate hitting 666. And a majority of people said yes, but I am so superstitious. I did not want to celebrate it, and we are celebrating 700 instead. Um, I think it is underrated as a superstition because there are some things I just never want to mess with, and those that's like definitely one of them. So yeah, let's go over some. The number 13 as being unlucky, and some of these are from online, so I'll put in the description where they're from. The number 13 is unlucky. Unlucky, I think it's definitely overrated. I think 13 is super lucky. I love the number 13 and I love Friday the 13th. Breaking a mirror brings 7 years of bad luck. Definitely underrated. I really like feel that there's an energy to breaking a mirror, and also it stays on your mind for like about 7 years. But the idea of it is that it actually captures your soul and that you're breaking a part of your soul, which like to me seems spooky. Don't place two mirrors facing each other. I heard this once and it was like a TikTok video. And it was like late at night and actually really creeped me out because they were saying about how spirits can like watch you in the mirror, and that if you face two together that they can like manifest, and like you can kind of like call them in, which is so frightening, so scary. So I definitely think that this is underrated. I would never do this one ever. Walking under a ladder draws misfortune. Underrated. I Nothing in the world would ever cause me to go under a ladder. That one I really believe in. Tuck your thumbs in at a cemetery. Underrated. I would do that. A lot of things that have to do with spirits, I think they're all underrated because especially with like bad luck and welcoming in spirits, I think those are things that like it's like you really don't want to mess with. So I'm pretty sure I can just bet that all of these are going to be underrated if they have to do with that. Opening an umbrella inside brings bad luck. Actually, I would do that one. I really would love to like take a video of like jumping into a pool with my clothes on and holding an umbrella. And I don't know why, but that seems so fun. Um, well, I guess you can do that outside, but like in an indoor pool, like in a hotel. I don't know why that's in my mind. Don't trim your nails after sundown. Underrated because also the lighting might not be the best to do that. So, singing at dinner table summons evil spirits. That's frightening. I'm not sure if it applies to happy birthday, but I would say underrated because that freaks me out. Whistling attracts tragedy. Underrated. I am not a fan of whistling. I really can't even whistle, and it feels like a tragedy that I can't whistle, so I'll say that's underrated. A black cat crossing your path is unlucky. Overrated. I think black cats are lucky, and one crossing your path is really lucky. But I do think that your belief in it is something that matters. Like this for like the number 13 and black cats, I feel like if you take that on as like a positive thing in your life, then it will be positive for you. And if you take it on as a negative thing in your life, it will be negative for you. Also, I think like negative thinking attracts bad luck and positive thinking attracts good luck just in general. Don't chew gum at night. Um, Overrated. Live a little. Hold your breath when you pass a cemetery. Overrated because actually the amount of times that it takes to actually pass a cemetery, I think it's very dangerous and you can actually pass out. although it probably won't kill you, it is dangerous to hold your breath that long because cemeteries are usually very big. But I do this. I actually do a lot of the times hold my breath when I pass a cemetery, and that's why I think it's overrated. Never rock an empty chair. I would say it's underrated because that's spooky. It says like you can invite spirits like that, and that is frightening. I also think about the movie The Exorcist and how she plays with the Ouija board in the beginning, and that's from like the true story that it's based on. And then his aunt, who was a spiritualist, passed away, and that's when all that stuff started happening, and he had exorcisms. Um, so yeah, I think there's something about that stuff that I would just stay away from in general. Here's another list. Never shake hands or kiss across a threshold. I don't think I have to worry about that because I rarely shake people's hands or kiss anyone. So that would be overrated. Never allow the broom to touch the feet of anyone you know. I would say underrated because it's such a strange thing to even ever happen. Don't go home away after a week. Underrated. Yeah, I would be superstitious about that, and I read that, and I definitely would follow that. Never stick your chopstick straight up. Interesting. It says that it's rude, so I would say underrated. Manners are necessary. Whistling indoors invites evil. Yeah, that's definitely underrated. Don't cheers with water. I would say overrated, but I actually am very superstitious about this, and I don't cheers with water. But I also don't tell people that I don't cheers with water, so this is like a confession for me. Keep shoes off the table, underrated. An itchy hand might be telling of your financial future. The idea of a right hand me being itchy means money's coming in and left hand means it's going out. I would say underrated because that's kind of a freaky thing. I don't know, it freaks me out. Don't flip over a cooked fish. Underrated. Just the fish is dead to begin with. Don't place bread upside down. I would say underrated because the idea of bread being upside down is freaking me out. Just thinking about it, like, just when things are slightly off, it's disturbing. Don't put your keys on the table. Ooh, I would say overrated. Because I would put it on a side table. Tuesday the 13th, not Friday the 13th is bad luck. Ooh. I've never heard that one. But I love the 13th of every month, so I would say overrated. Don't sit at a table corner. Uh, I'm wondering why. It says you'll never get married. Well, that could happen to me anyway, so I will say this is overrated. Don't have seven children. I have a feeling I won't have seven children, so I would say overrated. Wear a lot of bells on your wedding day. I don't think that applies to me, so don't sing at the dinner table again comes up. Don't enter a room with your left foot. Overrated. I think if you're constantly thinking about your left foot entering a room, that is not the best way to live. Um, the thumbs thing comes up again. Let's see. Interesting. It's about protecting your parents from death. I'll say that's underrated. Knock on wood for good luck. I don't do it, but when people say it, knock on wood, I do knock. I knock on wood. So I'd say contagious. This one is contagious. Overrated though. I wouldn't do it if I was alone. Spill a lot of water. Underrated. I actually think water, when it spills, I heard it that it actually can leave stains, and it's the worst thing when you get wet socks. That's just It's torturous. And immediately you have to change your socks. And then you change your socks and it happens again. So then you ask yourself, was it worth it to even change your socks? Yeah. Avoid the number four. Um, Interesting. I'll say underrated. Underrated because I don't have any particular feelings toward the number four. Um, don't give someone you like yellow flowers. I would say underrated because that's something I would do and it would probably turn out disastrous. Um, don't sleep in a room with a running fan. Underrated. I can't tell you how many times I like wonder if a fan would fall on me if it was on. And even I think it would be pretty bad if it fell on me if it was off too. Just all around not good. Don't put empty bottles on the ground. Hmm. Underrated because also it leaves a mess. Throw salt over your shoulder if you spill it. Underrated. I do really believe in that, and I do that. Give a penny if you've received something sharp. Overrated. Don't sleep with your head facing north. Hmm. Don't sleep with your head facing north. Overrated. Avoid sleeping with your head to the west. Um, Overrated. Don't play with scissors. Underrated. I don't think it's good to play with scissors. Bird poop brings good luck. Underrated. Owls are bad luck. Oh, that is overrated. I love owls. They're so beautiful. Um, and the cutest things in the world. Knitting outside can bring long winters. I would say irrelevant. Um, don't play with yo-yos because they can cause droughts. I'll say underrated, but also overrated because if you really want to play with a yo-yo and that's stopping you, that's a heavy weight to bear. Um, don't get a haircut on a Tuesday. I'm not a fan of getting my hair cut. Um, so I'll say underrated. Pregnant women should give into their cravings. Um, Underrated. Don't walk under a ladder. Of course, that is underrated. We should never walk under a ladder. Be careful of full moons. Overrated. Full moons, I feel like are the best energy. They bring the best energy. Go to hospitals on Wednesdays. Um, I'll say overrated. Thinking about going to the hospital, I think is overrated at any time. Unless it's life-saving, I guess. And then it'd be underrated. Don't wear red during a storm because it attracts lightning. I would say overrated. And if I get hit by lightning, you can clip this. A horseshoe is good luck. Ooh, underrated. I'll say underrated. Black cats are bad luck. That is so overrated. I love cats. Don't return home for something you forgot. Underrated because sometimes you just gotta let go. Uh, don't just sneeze once. Overrated. Sneeze to the freedom of your heart's desire. Bad things happen in threes. Um, Underrated. Don't comment on a particularly cute baby. Overrated. If a baby's cute, just say it. I don't think it's gonna do any harm. Never sit with 13 people at a table. Overrated. Don't step on a manhole cover. Ooh, underrated. I believe anything that is unsturdy you could fall into. Um, Keep your bananas off a cruise ship. I would say this is irrelevant for me. But I would say underrated because I think of the movie Poseidon and I would not want to welcome any bad energy when I'm on the sea or in the ocean. Carry an acorn to gain immortality. Underrated. Just because it's so interesting and fascinating. Um, I'm looking for some interesting ones. Add your sugar before coffee. I would say overrated because black coffee is so magical. And I'm having black coffee right now. Saturday, February 8th, to celebrate 700, we are going to have a live stream at 6 p.m. We will watch the Freddy Krueger, A New Nightmare. I absolutely love A Nightmare on Elm Street, and I cannot wait to see if this one's scarier than the other ones. It'll be a short live stream, and yeah, just for the duration of the movie. I'm super excited. Thank you so much for 700. In the comments, let me know some of your favorite superstitions and are you superstitious? So I read this book on trauma and this idea that the more trauma you've experienced, the more superstitious you are, which was very fascinating and I can see it being true and that superstition is like a form of dissociation. That's what they said in this book. And I think it like could possibly be true. I kind of like see it. I see it in a way. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for 700.